Good morning, everybody. Um, I guess this is a little surprise because I said I was going to try and go back to Wednesday nights, and I was expecting next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but looking at my calendar of events, it just wasn't going to be possible for me to do a video next week. So I thought I would go ahead and do a video today for everybody. So today's video is going to be a little bit more risk tolerant or a little bit higher risk than what most of my plays generally are today. All of the plays we're going to be talking about today are of one of the greatest of all times. I think he is the greatest of all time, and that is Michael Jordan. Good morning, Joel. Yes, bringing on the Jordan. So the risk tolerance this week is going to be a little bit higher. Most of the plays that you're used to seeing from me are you got a 90% chance or better of getting your money back on a 9 or a 10. I am not going to be talking about PSA 10s at all today. If you get a PSA 10, congratulations. It's like kind of winning the lottery a little bit. Everything I'm going to be talking about today with the Jordan cards are going to be PSA 9 or lower. And the odds of breaking even or making money instead of 90%, they're going to be more in that 50 to 75% range with PSA 7s, 8s, and 9s. Hope that makes sense. And I hope you understand that because these are a little bit older cards, it is a little bit harder to grade them. There's some theories out there like Joel thinks that PSA is hard on Jordans. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just older cards. But regardless of what the theory is, we're going to be talking about PSA. Some of the cards we're going to be talking about as low as PSA 4s and 5s, like on his rookie stuff. So you don't have to get super high grades to make money. That's the first myth that I'm going to debunk here today. You do not need PSA 10s to make money in the grading game, especially when you're talking about a great like Michael Jordan. And some of the cards, there's going to be 32 different cards that I believe you can make money on. Some of these cards, if you're not a Jordan fan, you've probably never even heard of or seen before, or you didn't even know they existed, let alone knew that you could make money on them. So it's going to be kind of a fun episode with Jordans. Hope you guys all enjoy it. Before I get into talking about the Jordans, I had a number of people that have reached out to me asking me for clarification on my velocity play. So if you haven't watched my YouTube video about velocity and how to make money in 2025, you should go to my YouTube video. I did not do it on Instagram. It is only on my YouTube page. All right, so with the velocity, the examples that I gave in velocity, I thought were pretty self-explanatory, but apparently they weren't, so I'm going to get some clarification for you guys. I only used those examples in 20 of the same cards to show you the power of velocity and how speed alone can help make you money. I did not mean that you had to do the same exact play 3 or 4 or 5 times over the course of the year. That wasn't my purpose of the video. So there was a little bit of misunderstanding there. My point was that if you do a play, whatever play it is, the more times you can do it over the course of the year, the more money you're going to make. I hope that makes sense, and I hope the clarification helps. You do not have to do the exact same card over and over and over again throughout the course of the year. That would not be smart. Okay. Some cards you might get away with it, but most cards that wouldn't be smart. Good morning, Sportswise. Welcome in. So I hope that clarification on velocity helps. You are simply with velocity, you are simply turning your money as fast as you can. So with the velocity, I've had a bunch of questions. Almost all of them revolve around Victor Wembanyama's silver prism. I've been asked probably 10 times since my velocity video. Well, if you want to turn money over, isn't the silver Victor Wembanyama a great play? It's really low. His prices are climbing. Yes, Victor Wembanyama Silver Prism PSA 10 is a good play for you to make money if you want to do it the old school way and have your money sit and sit and sit. Yes, I believe that Victor Wembanyama is going to make you money. However, if you want to go that route, I'm just making a disclaimer, you are not going to make as much money in 2025 as you could. The point of the Victor Wembanyama in my velocity play was, sure, you can buy it at $750 right now. And sure, if he leads them to the playoffs and continues playing well, with performance spike, along with the fact that they may make the playoffs, his cards could go up to $1,000, $11, $12, heck, even $1,500. Doesn't matter. You're sitting on that money for 6 months. The playoffs aren't until June, guys. If you want to tie up that much money to get a 30, 40, 50%, even maybe you get lucky and you double your money, to tie up that kind of money for 6 months, go right ahead. You're going to make money. That's great. Congratulations. The point of the velocity play was, if you want to maximize your profits in 2025, you got to stop doing it the old school way. And that is old school. Buying a card and sitting on it for 6 months. Sure, it's a good play. Sure, you're going to make money, but it's going to cost you money over the long run, because you could be making plays. You could turn that money at least 2 to 3 times over in that 6 month period of time, if that makes sense. So that is a asterisk on the velocity play, if you guys were at all interested. So I am not saying Victor PSA 10 Silver is not a good play. I'm just saying it's a fairly safe play, but it is a slow play. It is going to tie up a bunch of money, and in the long run, it'll cost you money because you could have been turning that money over and over again. All right. That is enough of the velocity. All right. Let's get into some Michael Jordan plays here, and I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you got questions, let me know. Again, please note that these plays are not a 90% chance of getting your money back. They're more in that 50 to 75%. But I just wanted to show you that there are 30 plus Michael Jordan cards that you can make money on. Some are a little bit easier and safer than others. The reason I'm giving you 30 is variety, guys. Pick and choose what you want. A lot of these cards have very low pop counts because not many people are grading them, because not many people even know they exist. So have a little bit of fun with Michael Jordan with me. And if this show runs, it might run a little bit long today because I got a lot to cover, but stick with me or go back and watch it later. All right, here we go. First Michael Jordan card of the day is none other than a PSA. Well, first of all, it's a 1995 metal number 3. It's called Slick Silver. The Slick Silver card is a cool card in the sense that it's a card that you actually can still get PSA 10s, even though we're not going to talk about them. This is a card that has a 17%, almost an 18% gem rate still on PSA 10s. So it's one of the highest gem rate card, might be the highest gem rate card of anything we're going to talk about. But as you can see, the most recent sale was $106. The 30-day average is $137. A PSA 8 sells for $130 in the most recent sale. So if you pay the 30-day average, you got to get a 9 to make money. If you can get it for the most recent sale price, as you can see, the last 3 sales have all been under $110. So hopefully you're able to get this card under $110. And that gives you the room then to break even if you get a PSA 8. A PSA 9 most recent sale was $191, and that has a 55% chance of getting a PSA 9. So it's over 50% chance of a 9 and making about $50 on this card. Not a ton of profit, but profit nonetheless. So that's why we're starting with that card. All right, let's go to the next card. As I said, there's going to be 32 of them, so bear with me. Hopefully you guys find this entertaining. I had fun putting it together. All right, the next card up is a 1993 Fleer Legends card number 4. This card, very inexpensive. As you can see, the most recent sale of this card was only $14. The average is 27 for 30 days. As you can see, the last 2 sales have dipped down. Obviously, guys, when we're talking raw conditions of 1980s and 90 cards, the raw prices can vary quite drastically, because if you can see dinged corners or edges or something that are bad, it's going to sell for less than one that looks really nice. So you got to take that with a little bit of a grain of salt when you're looking at these numbers. That last sale was probably one that showed a little bit of wear and tear. So I would go more with the average, which is $27. If you get a PSA 8, there's a 38% chance of that. $70. Most recent sale is $70. So you're going to, at very worst, break even on a PSA 8, even if you're paying the $30 or $28 for the 30-day average. However, a PSA 9 jumps all the way up to $275. So for a card that you can buy raw for roughly around $30 that looks really nice, you break even on an 8, you can 6x your money on a PSA 9. That is, for me, that's a fun, a real fun one to try and get into. All right, next up. Next one up is 1997 Skybox Z-Force. This is the Z-Force. When you look at the Z-Force cards, they are kind of fun. They're good-looking cards. They have black edges, so they're a little bit very condition sensitive. But as you can see, the most recent sale on this card is the Super Boss was $108. That's down from the 30-day average, which was $129. But a PSA 8 is $155. So there again, even if you're paying $130, which is your 30-day average, and you're getting the thing graded in bulk, on a PSA 8, you're at very worst breaking even, possibly even making a buck or two on a PSA 8. On a PSA 9, however, you're going to triple your money. A PSA 9's $455. So that is a fun card when you can possibly triple your money on a PSA 9. Next card up. Next card up is the 1995 Fleer Ultra Gold Medallion. This is a beautiful card. I have this card in my collection. I have it. Matter of fact, I love the 95 gold medallion set. So I have the complete set of gold medallions of all the players. I don't have all of them graded, but I have them in my collection. Very cool card. As you can see, the most recent sale was $86. The 30-day average is $90. So you're going to spend around $90 on this card to get a nice copy of it in raw condition. A PSA 8 sells for $130. So there again, PSA 8, worst case scenario, you break even. A PSA 9 is $440. So again, a 3 to 4x your money on a PSA 9. Let's take a look at the next one. Next one up is Gonna try not to get these confused with so many of them in my browser here. All right, 1996 Michael Jordan metal Steel Slammin' is the insert card that this is. Steel Slammin'. This is a fairly rare card to find. As you can see, there's only 3 sales in the last 30 days. But because it's rare, it makes it valuable. So the most recent sale was $228. The 30-day average is 205. So as you can see on the chart here, it's a little bit of an uptick with the last sale over the average. But 200, 225, 230, whatever you got to pay. If you can find a nice copy of this, a PSA 8 is $350. So you can make $100 on a PSA 8. If you get a PSA 9, $693 for a PSA 9. Only 402 of this card have even been graded. So this is not, again, this is a weird, obscure insert card that many of you may not know even existed because it's not graded a lot. But a PSA 9 can take you from around a $200 to $225 investment all the way up almost to $700. So a fun way to spend your money and taking a chance on a legend, Michael Jordan. All right, next card up is we are going to talk about the Flair Showcase. There are 3 of these, I believe. There's row 0, row 1, row 2. This is the Flair Showcase row 1. Very colorful card, beautiful card in hand. This card most recently sold for $71. As you can see, that's down from the 30-day average, which is $90. A PSA 8 sells for $110 range. So if you can get it even around that 30-day average, it's about a break even on a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $276. So you're going to a little better than double your money if you can find a nice one of these and get it to PSA 9. These Flair cards are absolutely beautiful cards for being mid-90s cards. I know a lot of this stuff was masked. They call it the junk wax era, but these mid-90s basketball cards were not overproduced like the baseball cards were. Not a lot of people collected basketball in the mid-90s. So these are a little bit more rare than you think. And it makes it fun to go out and grade these cards when everybody else is chasing after the latest and greatest from the 2024 Bowman draft. This is giving you an option to not have to go where they ain't, to go in an area that is really kind of untapped. It's the wild, wild west, as you would, in the sense that not a ton of people are thinking about grading Michael Jordan cards anymore, which makes it fun because it allows you to do it. And if they are grading Jordan cards, everybody's grading, the rookie cards and things of that nature. So these insert cards from the 90s make great target opportunities for money-making opportunities. All right, the next card up is a 1997 Metal Universe base card. This card most recently sold for $61. You can see the chart in the last 30 days. It is all over the board from as low as $25 all the way up to $100. This card is all over the board. But the 30-day average is around $50. If you can find it in that $50, $60 range, like the most recent sale, a PSA 8 sells for $95. So you're going to turn a small profit to break even on a PSA 8, and a PSA 9 is $140. So you're going to double your money. Not as huge of a return as some of these other ones on a PSA 9, but it's still a way for you to make money on a Jordan card that is not graded all that often. Although there are 6,300 of these graded. So little bit more common. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Next up is 1995 Stadium Club Warp Speed. This is kind of a like a hologram type card or a foil card. It's got a nice shiny finish to it. It's a very cool insert set from 95 Stadium Club. The most recent sale of this card was 153. The 30-day average is 133, but you can see the last three sales were all around that $150 range. So even if you got to pay that $150, you are in great shape. Because a PSA 7 sells for $180. So even if you're paying $150 and you're doing bulk grading, you're going to break even on a PSA 7. On a PSA 8, it's $250. So you're going to make a nice $100 profit on a PSA 8. And a PSA 9, if you're lucky enough to get a good copy and get a 9, it's $1,250. How's a nice, cool $1,000 profit for finding a mid-90s card without getting a PSA 10. Now, it's almost a 14% gem rate on the PSA 9s, so it's not as hard as you think. It's not like it's a single-digit gem rate. There are 217 out of 1,500 PSA 9s. So this is a card that it's achievable to get a 9. It's not real likely, but it's achievable. More than likely, if you get a nice one, you're going to get a PSA 8, and you're going to make a nice $100 profit on it. If I can make $100 on a card, that makes me happy. I don't need to get greedy on stuff. I'll take a $100 profit on everything and keep on rolling. All right, next card up is a 1988. So this is a very common card, okay, guys? When I say common, this is one that almost everybody knows to grade the first, second, and third year base cards of Michael Jordan. So this one isn't surprising anybody. This isn't a special insert. This is just a good old-fashioned third year Michael Jordan Fleer base card. As you can see, the most recent sale was $60. The last 6 sales have all been at or below $60. There were a couple of them, as you can see, that spiked up almost a little over $100. If it were me and I could find one for $100 that looked really, really nice, I might take that chance. But if you can get an average one like these last 5 were for around $60 or less, a PSA 7 sells for $90. So you're going to break even on a bulk play on a PSA 7. A PSA 8's $113, so you're going to about double your money, maybe a little bit less when you take fees out. And a PSA 9 is $233, so a nice 3 to 4x of your money on a very easy card to find. There are 27,000 of these cards already graded at PSA. So this is not a rare or a hard to find card. However, be very careful on centering on this card. Try and find a good centered copy, because off centering is going to put you at a 7 or a less. And I know a 7 breaks you even, but the goal here, guys, is to make money, not to break even. So I'm trying to give you the best advice I can on that card. Centering is very, very difficult. So watch the centering. If you get good centering, you got a real good shot at an 8 or a 9, as long as the rest of the card is in good shape. All right. Next card up we're going to talk about is a 1993 Stadium Club card. This is the Beam Team. Now, there are several years of the Beam Team. This is not my favorite Beam Team card. However, when I ran the numbers, it's the one that allows you to make the most profit. So that's why I've got it on here. This is, as you can see, the most recent sale, $70, 30-day average of 85. Again, it bounces around from 60 to $100, which is why the average is 85. You can pay $100 for a nice one, guys. Don't feel like you need to get this at that $60, $70 range. Try and find a really nice really nice raw copy of it, and pay $100 if you need to for a nice one, because a PSA 8's $170. So even if you're paying $100 and you're doing the bulk grading, you're making a nice easy $50, $60 on a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $450. So there again, if you spend $100 for a really nice raw copy, and you get a 9, well, now you're 4xing your money at $450. So this is a card that gives you the little bit of wiggle room to try and really spend that couple of extra bucks to find a really nice raw copy. The room is there in that card for you to be able to afford to do that. All right, next card up. Upper Deck Jordan Rare Air, number 89. This is the base card. This is the Mendez brothers in the background card. So this, you know how sometimes when you see celebrities in cards like the John Morant card, how they get to be real popular. This has the Menendez brothers in the background, which makes this card a little bit more fun to collect. $41 was the most recent sale. The 30-day average is $63. You can see the last two sales have dropped. Could be condition sensitive. So I would spend that. I would look for one in that $65 to $75 range. You've got the room to do it. Try and find a nice one that you can get a good scanned copy to where the edges don't look frayed. The corners look good. And a PSA 8 is $121. So you're going to turn a nice $50, $60 profit on a PSA 8 if you got a nice copy of it. And a $121, not $170. I was looking at the wrong one. $121 is a PSA 8. So you're still going to make a nice $40, $50 profit on a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $225. So there again, you can 3 to 4x your money after fees on a PSA 9. PSA 8 is the most common grade for that card. So I would expect more of that $40 to $50 profit and get excited if you get the PSA 9. I would not be expecting a 9. Next card up, we've got a 97 Hoops Rock the House insert card. This is another fun insert, guys. Rock the House, $96 most recent sale. You can see this card has been spiking up the last couple of sales. The 30-day average is $75. A PSA 8 is $150. So even if you got to spend around $100 to find a nice clean copy, you're going to turn a small profit on a PSA 8. A PSA 9 is $600. So you're going to 4 to 5, maybe even 6x your money, depending upon the entry point of this card, if you can get a PSA 9 of it. But there again, expect an 8, make a nice little, a small little $25 to $50 profit. Turn it fast, put this in your bulk plays, make it a velocity play, get it, flip it, turn it, put that money back into something else and do it all over again. All right, next card up is a sticker card. This is the 1987 Fleer sticker base number 2. Sticker cards are much harder to grade than a standard card. So it's a little bit harder to get good grades on stickers. With that said, the most recent sale was $70. The 30-day average is $70. You can see a couple of them spiked real high, but most of them are in that $40 to $80 range. So I would expect you can get a pretty nice copy in that $70 range, 70, 75. A PSA 7, and I went all the way down to a 7 here because it is a sticker. A PSA 7 is $125. So if you can find one in $75 range and get it graded, get a PSA 7, you can turn a nice $30 to $40 profit after fees. A PSA 8's $250, so you can do a nice double up on your money. And a PSA 9, which is not impossible on these stickers, you can still get a good one. $1,300. So you're going to 10x your money on a sticker if you can get a 9. But that is a little bit more difficult. That's probably around about a 10% chance. So there again, I wouldn't be expecting it. I would be shooting for the PSA 8 and a nice doubling up of my money. That would be great. Hey, Bonini, welcome in. All right, so next card up. Next card up is a 95 Hoops Hot List insert. This is the Hot List base card. There are a couple of different variations of this card. $60 is the most recent sale. 30-day average is $75. You can pay that 30-day average if you need to. You can pay a little bit over the 30-day average if you find a real nice one, because a PSA 8 sells for $122. So pay $80, find a nice one, pay $80. And I guess at $80 with eBay fees, you might be breaking even on a PSA 8. But a PSA 9 is $300, and you can do a nice double to triple your money. And it's almost a 30% chance at a PSA 9. So that is not unreasonable to think that you could still get a PSA 9 in that card. All right, next up. We're almost halfway through. Told you this was going to be a longer video. I hope you guys are enjoying all these different Jordan cards. I know I had fun putting it together. 1996 Fleer Ultra Full Court Trap. Another insert card from the Fleer Ultra set. The most recent sale was $68. The 30-day average is 87. So you can see that bubble up there in the graph. There was one sale for almost $110, and that really skewed the 30-day average. Everything else is under $90, considerably under $90, but because of that one sale, it brought the average up a little bit. There have been only 8 sales in the last 30 days on this card. But that's okay. Pay the $90 if you need to. Again, I can't stress enough to pay a little bit extra if you need to get one that looks really good. If you're not buying them in person at a card show and you're buying them online, look for somebody that does not have a bunch of graded cards in their eBay store. I do not buy cards from people that have a bunch of graded cards, because if they grade a bunch of cards, why didn't they grade this one? They're probably some degenerate that follows the buy a low grade, crack it and sell it raw. I have no use for people like that in the hobby, with no integrity. I just don't care for that. That's really sticks in my craw. So make sure that you are buying from somebody that sells either the majority of what they sell raw, or everything that they sell raw. That's really the types of people I'm looking for. Or a consignment house like DC Sports or Morazan from China. I've had real good luck with those two consignment places with getting good high grades. All right, so $145 in PSA 8, so a double up of your money in a PSA 8. $345, a triple to quadrupling of your money in a PSA 9. So this is a card that is achievable. There's less than 1,000 of these graded. So again, going where they ain't is kind of fun. Welcome in, Happier. We are doing a Michael Jordan deep dive today on all different types of Michael Jordan cards that you maybe didn't even know existed, and I'm showing you how to make money with buy raw to grade plays on Michael Jordan. Next card up, 1997 Topps Season's Best. There again, there's several parallels of this. This is the base. If you see this, excuse me. All right. Only 3 sales in the last 30 days. This is not a real easy card to find. Again, less than 1,000 of them are graded. $176 is the most recent sale. The 30-day average is 126. But I would pay up. I'd pay $200 for a real nice copy of this. So I'm not going to worry about the 30-day average. I'm going to look for a really nice, clean copy of this card because a PSA 8 sells for $400. And PSA 8 is the most common grade. Over 40% of the cards graded at PSA are PSA 8s. So you got a real strong chance of getting an 8 and doubling your money if you can get a nice, clean copy of this card. The PSA 9 sells for $850, and that would be a nice 4x of your money. So I would definitely look for a super clean copy and not worry about the $126 average. I'd pay closer to $200 to get a nice one if it meant I could get a nice one. Next card up is 1997 Stadium Club Hard Court Heroics. This is a super cool looking card in person. Another very fun mid-90s insert set in Stadium Club. Most recent sale was $58. 30-day average is $63. A PSA 8 sells for $110. So there again, if you got to spend $75 or $80, you're going to break even on a PSA 10 or a PSA 8, I'm sorry, at $110. So if you need to pay up a little bit more to get a real good looking copy, go ahead. But if you can get one around that $60, you got a chance at doubling your money on a PSA 8. On a PSA 9, it's $245. So again, a 3 to 4x of your money. I think that I really enjoy collecting these insert sets from the 90s. I know you've heard Teapot over on the Market Movers channel talking about how he loves the mid-90s inserts as well. Shameless plug, not sponsored by, but all of the graphs and charts you're seeing are from Market Movers. There are several different tools you can use. There's Card Ladder, Market Movers. There's Alt has a nice chart. But I like Market Movers. I think it's the cleanest, the nicest, the easiest to use. To get unlimited, it's like $500 a year. But you can get it for, I think, as low as maybe 14 or 15 bucks a month. If you're interested. I do not have any special codes to give you to get a discount, but just go check it out and you'll be happy with it. All right. Next card up is a rookie card. Yes, guys, you can still buy rookie cards and make money. So let me just show you how the rookie card market is and how you can still make money. Do I think there are many PSA 9s and 10s out there in the world for sale raw? No, I don't. The people that have the money to break boxes, the Jeff Wilsons of the world that break a fresh, unopened box, they're going to send all of those cards in themselves. So I think there's a much higher likelihood that you're going to find raw copies in lower grades than the higher grades. But bear with me. Let me show you how this can still be profitable. Most recent sale of a raw base was $2,150. There have been 11 sales in the last 30 days, guys. So this is a fairly high transacted card. It's selling one every 3 days on eBay or someplace like that in raw condition. The 30-day average is $2,080, and the most recent sale is $2,150. I know this is a lot of money. There are very few people that can afford to spend this kind of money to try and do a play. But not everybody that watches this wants to see 20 and 30 and $50 cards. So I'm trying to do a variety for all of my listeners and followers, showing the variety of ways to make money on Michael Jordan, and to not have the Fleer card in there would not be doing it any justice. Spoiler alert, I did not include any star cards. They're too expensive. They're too expensive and they're too hard to get good grades. So I did, this is my high-end card, is the Michael Jordan rookie card. All right. So you pay $2,150 for what you think is an okay looking copy. We're not naive enough to think that we're going to buy a raw copy that's going to get an 8, 9, or a 10, right? It's probably not going to happen. The guy would have to be under a rock to be owning one and not have already sent it in for grading. So we're not going to worry about 9s and 10s. In a PSA 4, guys, in a PSA 4, that's not a great condition card, let me tell you, a PSA 4. A PSA 4 sells for $3,000. So buy the card for $2,150. You're going to have to pay $150 to get it graded. You're going to have to pay a little bit more in shipping. So now $2,150 probably becomes $2,350, $2,400 with taxes and shipping and all that kind of stuff. But $3,000, you're going to lose about $400 in eBay fees if you sell it on eBay. That still leaves you a couple $100 profit, or about a 10% return on your money if you can buy it for $2,100, sell it for $3,000 after fees, shipping, taxes, the whole 9 yards. And that's if you get a PSA 4. Most of you would have a hard time spending $2,000 on a card that you think looks like a PSA 4. The reason I'm telling you this is because if you can find a raw copy that looks better than a 4, you only increase your odds of making money. In a PSA 5, the most recent sale is $3,540. Now we're talking about some serious investment. You're talking about a 50% return on your money. You spend $2,000, you get $3,500. You end up with $3,000 net after all the taxes and fees. You just turn $2,000 into $3,000. That's a pretty nice way to go, and you only need a PSA 5 to do it. Get lucky, find a fairly decent copy of the card, and you get a PSA 6, jumps up to $4,000. A PSA 7, now I don't think there are many raw cards out there that are still available you're going to get a 7 on, but who knows, maybe. You get a PSA 7, it's $5,300, and now you're really talking about some good return on investment. You're better than doubling your money for a $2,000 investment. The odds of getting a PSA 4, 5, or 6, according to the grading, is 50, 60, 61% chance of getting a PSA 4 to a PSA 7. 61%. 61% chance of making money on a $2,000 investment. Sounds like a decent enough odds that it's a chance that I take. I can tell you I did that play twice in 2024. I got one PSA 4 and I got one PSA 6. So not great, but still profited on 2 raw Michael Jordan rookie cards. So it is possible, guys. It is possible. So if you want to go down that path, there is a path for you to take, and you don't need to get the super high grades to make money. Next is another very, very desirable card. Outside of his first couple of year cards, it might be the most desirable card of all of his early 90s to mid 90s cards. This is his Scoring Kings card. 1993 Fleer Ultra number 5 Scoring Kings. This is a very highly sought after card, and it sells for big money in a PSA 10, or good money, I should say. Not rookie card big money, but sells for very, very good money in a PSA 10. It also sells well in lower grades. So $220 is the most recent sale. The 30-day average is $493. So I don't know if this card is falling because the last couple of sales had some really poor condition raw cards. I have a really hard time believing that there was a nice condition $220 card for sale. The 30-day average of $493 would be my target, would be to spend around $500 to get a nice copy of this card. If you can get a nice copy of this card for around $500, a PSA 7, $625. So you have a very legitimate shot of getting about a 20% return on investment, or making about $100 on a PSA 7, depending upon where you buy in. A PSA 8 is $800, and a PSA 9 is $2,450. So there again, between those, you got an 85% chance of getting a 7, 8, or 9. It's a matter of where you buy into this card and whether or not you buy a real decent copy, or if you end up buying something that didn't look great and you get it cheap. But try and find a nice copy of this card. Be okay with paying in that $400 to $500 range, and you have a very nice opportunity to make some money on that card as well. All right. Next up, we have the sticker card. If you followed me at all in the last couple of years, you know that I've bought this card and sold this card in a PSA 8. I usually do it a couple of times a year because the graph goes all up and down. It's a pretty easy card to buy and sell and make money on, but it requires holding it and selling it at the right time. So I won't be doing that in 2025 because I am putting my money where my mouth is this year, and I am using my velocity ideas for myself to try and see just how big I can grow my card bank account in 2025. So I'm going to be doing the raw to grade on this card instead of the buying graded and looking to flip. I did do a couple of these last year in the raw section. I'm glad I did it through eBay because 2 of the 4 that I bought failed authentication. So be very aware that the rookie card, Fleer rookie card, as well as the Fleer sticker card are highly reproduced. So if you're buying it in person at a show, be uber careful. If you're buying it on eBay, make sure it's high enough that you are getting the eBay authentication to make sure that it's a real legitimate card. All right. So this card, the sticker card, 14 times in the last 30 days, about one every other day. This card sells a lot. It's super popular. As you can see, it ranges anywhere from about $350 all the way up to the most recent sale of $700. That $700 sale, I was watching it on eBay. The card looked centered perfectly. I think it had a legitimate shot at getting a 7, 8, or 9, which is why somebody paid so much for it. Typically, you're going to see that you can buy these cards somewhere. These sticker cards, the average card is in that $400 to $500 range, which is why the average is $424. So depending upon where you buy it, a PSA 5 sells for $600. So obviously, if you spend $700 on a really nice copy and you get a PSA 5, you're going to be upset because you lost money. But if you buy an average one in that $450 range, you get a PSA 5 and you make $100, you're going to be real happy. A PSA 6, $689. A PSA 7, $1,000. A PSA 8, $1,570. That is up a little bit because last year the PSA 8s that I was buying and selling, I always targeted the 8s in that 900 to 950 range, and I always targeted selling them around that $1,400 range. So the fact that the last one sold for $1,570 tells me that that card is inching up a little bit. If you're lucky enough, say this guy that paid $700 got a really nice copy and he gets a PSA 9, that's $3,650. I would expect, guys, if you're buying into this card, I would expect the most likely scenario is that you're going to end up with a 5 through an 8. Those are the four most common grades. It is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. You have a 71% chance of getting a 5 through an 8 on this card. So that is the most likely scenario. So make sure that you're buying a card and you're knowing what it looks like so that you can get out of it and make money in a 5 or a 6 if it's a little off-centered. Or if it's real nice and clean, you can pay up for it, knowing that you're going to get $1,000 to $1,500 in a 7 or an 8. All right. Next card up is $1993 Upper Deck Holo Jams. This is another amazing looking mid-90s insert set. I really love the Holo Jams. They are super cool to have in hand. It's a cheap card, guys. It's only $12 is the most recent sale. 30-day average is $13. You can see it spiked as high as $17 and it got down as low as $9. So expect to spend in that $12 to $15 range for a decent one. Even if you got to go to $20, you're fine. A PSA 8 sells for $51. A PSA 9 for $290. So if you get a 9, you're really doing well on a $20 investment. But if you get an 8, you're still making money at $51. So either way, this is a card that allows you to make some money. Next up, I believe we've got 12 cards to go here. So if you haven't fallen asleep, if I haven't bored you to death yet, you got 12 more opportunities here for Michael Jordan cards to buy and sell. All right, 1995 Fleer Ultra Fabulous 50s. This is vibrant card with some real nice orange coloring on it. Again, a very nice insert set from the 95 Fleer Ultra. Again, an inexpensive one, guys. $12 is the most recent sale. 30-day average is only $9. You can see the most expensive one in the last 30 days sold for $13, 2 different occasions. A couple of them sold for as low as $4. So this is a very inexpensive way to get into a Jordan card. It doesn't have the black border, so it's a little bit easier to grade. A PSA 8 is selling for $35. So if you spend around 10 to get it, you do the bulk play. A PSA 8, you're breaking even. A PSA 9 is $80. You're going to double your money. You have an 84% chance of an 8 or a 9 on this card. So this card actually grades pretty well. You are shooting for a 9 because nobody likes breaking even. Everybody's trying to make some money, or you wouldn't be watching this. The idea here is to turn our cash into more cash, not to keep it equal. All right. Next card up, 98 Hoops Pump Up the Jam. Nice card with a nice close-up of Michael's face in the top left-hand corner with an action shot of him over on the right-hand side. Again, this is a super inexpensive card, guys. $5.42, the most recent sale. 30-day average is $5.45. The highest card was $12. The lowest card was $2.75. So you can get a pretty nice copy in that $5, $6, $7, $8 range. PSA 9 or PSA 8 sells for $29. So if you target it at $5, you do the raw to grade, you're breaking even, maybe losing eBay fees on an 8. But on a PSA 9, it's $120. So for a card that you can buy in that $5 to $10 range, all you need is a PSA 9, and it's got a pretty good gem chance of getting a 9 on this card, and you're getting $120 in return. So there aren't too many cards out there that you can buy for $10, grade them, get a 9, and get a 4 or 5x return on your investment, which makes that card kind of fun. All right, let's see. What do we got next here? Welcome in, Regna Cards. Going over Michael Jordan plays to make money on. Card Professors joining us. Welcome in, guys. We've got about 10, 11 Jordan card plays left to go. We're talking about, I've got 32 opportunities for you on ways to make money on Michael Jordan cards without getting PSA 10s. We're talking about 7s, 8s, and 9s today. We're talking about mid 80s and 90s inserts. All right, so the next card up is a 95 Hoops Number Crunchers. This is a very colorful card. Beautiful colors on this card. It's card number 1. Again, very inexpensive. $7 is the $7.75, the most recent sale. 30-day average is $7.04. You can see it spiked up to $14. It went as low as $2. So you can get anywhere from $2 to $14 on this card. The average being $7. Buy it for $7. Do your bulk grade. You're going to break even on a PSA 8. PSA 8 sells, most recent sale was $28. So you're going to break even on an 8. On a PSA 9, it sells for $60. You're going to double your money. So again, a card that you can buy for $7, $8, and have a chance of a double up, where you can make, where you can sell it for $60 on a PSA 9 in return. There again, you got about a 40% chance of a PSA 9. So it's very doable to get that card in a PSA 9. Nobody's going to go on a vacation buying that card and getting a 9, but all little ways to make money here. Every little bit counts, and it gives you a lot of options. So 1993 Upper Deck Special Edition, Behind the Glass. This again is a really cool looking insert card. $20.50 is the most recent sale. $33 is the 30-day average. You can see one spiked up to $55, and the most recent sale was down to $20. I think you're going to expect to pay in that $30 to $40 range to get one of these. But if you can get one down in that $20 range, it gives you an opportunity to get out of this card a little bit better. So a PSA 7 sells for $47. So if you get one for $25 and you get it graded, you're going to lose your eBay fees on a PSA 7. PSA 8's $90, so you're going to get a nice $30, $40 profit on a PSA 8. And a PSA 9 is $575. So spend $30, $40, get it graded, and get $500, $600 in return. Aren't too many modern day cards that you can do that with, which makes something in the mid 90s a little bit more vintage, makes it fun, and there's less people competing against you trying to buy these cards to go out and do this. So less competitors gives you a better chance of winning some auctions or going to a show and buying it in person. All right, we're on the home stretch here, guys. 8 cards left. 1988 Fleer All-Star card. Um, this is a high volume card. There have been almost 18,000 of these cards graded. This is a very easy card to come by. Last sale was $48.50. 30-day average is $45. As you can see, they go anywhere from $35 all the way up to $70 in the last 30 days. Majority of them are in that $40 to $60 range. I would try and target one as the nicest one I could find, the best centering, the best looking edges on a scan. I would be willing to pay. Heck, I'd offer somebody $75, which is way over comps, if I thought the card looked really nice. The reason I would do that is in a PSA 8, it's $120. So you're looking at least doubling your money if you're getting one at the average, or picking up $50 if you're overpaying for a really, really nice copy. $120 in a PSA 8. PSA 9 is $300. So again, this is a card that with 17, almost 18,000 of them graded, this is a card that is a real good likelihood that you can get an 8 or a 9 on this card. An 8 for sure. An 8 is the most likely grade. It's the highest percentage at PSA is a PSA 8 at almost 40%. But even if you're overpaying at $70 or $80 for a good looking copy, you're still making money at $120. So that's one that you can target and be confident, overpay a little bit, and still be safe at making some profits. So if you're struggling and you're having a hard time turning profits, a card like that might be one where you want to target it, because it gives you a lot of room at an 8 to go out and still make some money. It's one of the safer plays on here. 1993 Fleer Ultra Power in the Key. Most recent sale, $86. The 30-day average, $87. Again, you can see spikes as low as $68 and as high as $135 on this card. The average is $87. So at $90 in grading fees with the bulk fee, a PSA 7 is $145. So you're turning a profit on a PSA 7 on this card. A PSA 8 is $166. So a little bit better than a 7 in terms of profit. And a PSA 9 spikes all the way to $885. But the key here, guys, is you can turn a profit on a 7. That gives you a lot of opportunities to be able to go out and make money on this card. Anytime you can make money on a 7, it's one I want to take a chance at, because I trust my visual inspections that I think I can spot a 7 or better pretty easily. All right. This next card up is one of my favorite Michael Jordan cards. It might be my favorite Michael Jordan card. It's not his rookie card. It's his second-year card. Really like the design of this card. I own a couple of these cards, and I'm looking to do this play on this card and see if I can upgrade it. I have a PSA 8, a PSA 9 in my PC. I would love to get a PSA 10 of this card, but I will take some more 8s and flip them if that is what I can do to make money in 2025. This card, again, almost 20, it's over 20,000 that have been graded at PSA. So this is a card that's easy to come by. As you can see, 26 sales in the last 30 days, almost one per day. The most recent sale was $258. The 30-day average is $214. So you want to be expecting in that $2 to $250 range on this card. A PSA 7 sells for $272. So if you can buy this card in that $2 to $225 range, a PSA 7 breaks you even. If you got to pay up to the 250 to 275 range to get the card because it's really a nice looking copy, a PSA 9 is going to cost you your grading fees. I'm sorry, a PSA 7 is going to cost you your grading fees. A PSA 8, however, is $484. So if you get a card, centering is key on this one again. If you get a card that looks really centered on this card and the corners look nice, PSA 8 is the most common grade out of the 20,000 that have been graded. PSA 8 is the most common grade on this card. At a little over 40% of the cards graded get PSA 8s. So that's almost a $500 card in a PSA 8. So go out, eyeball yourself a nice one of these, pay $250, pay $275 if you see one that you really, really like. And the goal is to get a PSA 8 at $494. A PSA 9, should you be lucky enough to get one of those, sells for $1,500. I can tell you that it is possible to do because the 9 that I have in my PC right now is one that I bought raw last year off of eBay, and it came back a PSA 9. I did not flip it. I immediately threw it in my PC because it was better than my 8. So now I kept the 8, so I have an 8 and a 9 in my PC. I would love to get rid of my 8 and my 9 and upgrade to a 10. But in the meantime, I will take more 8s and 9s and some more profit, and I hope you will too. All right. Next up is 1997 Hoops Dish and Swish. They don't have clever inserts like this anymore. I don't know why. Or maybe it's just I'm nostalgic, but some of these new inserts aren't as great. Like an Emergent, a Dish and Swish sounds so much better. Anyways, this card, $16.50, most recent sale in raw, $18 is the 30-day average. You can see it's spiked up to as high as $25. It's been as low as $8. Expect to spend $15 to $20 for a decent one of these. A PSA 8 is $55. So you buy it for $20, get it graded. You're going to break even on, after eBay fees, you're going to break even on an 8. A PSA 9 is $127. You're going to triple your money. And again, this card is, being a 97, this is a card that is, I do think, is very feasible to get a 9, or I wouldn't put it on my list. All right, we're down to our last 4. We're on the home stretch here, guys. All right, next card up is 93 Skybox Premium Dynamic Dunks. You're going to get sick of me saying, but here's another cool insert. $18 is the most recent sale. 30-day average is $17.43, so it's right around the most recent sale. Spiked up as high as $23, got down as low as $8. So kind of all over the board. This has a lot of black edges, so I would be careful. I would pay closer to that $20 range to get a nice one that looks good. A PSA 8 is $50, so you're going to break even if you spend $20 and bulk grade it. On a PSA 8, you break even. On a PSA 9, it's $156, and you're going to triple your money. So nice way to do that. All right, let's see. What do we got left? We've got 2 left. We have a 97 Stadium Club Hoop Screams is the name of the card. $15 most recent sale, 30-day average $23. The high, as you can see, is $35. The low is $16. I would go with the average around $23 to get a decent one. The PSA 8, $48. So you spend $20 to $22, bulk grade it. You might lose your eBay fees on a PSA 8. PSA 9 is $70. so you can double your money. But this is one of the lower cards that on the list of cards. This is one I would target the least of everything that I put up here today. But I wanted to just show you that it's a cool insert, and there is a possibility if you get a 9 to make some money on that card. All right, and the last card that we're going to talk about for Jordan today is 1995 Fleer Total O. $35, most recent sale, $27 is the 30-day average. So you can see it spiked as high as 40. It got down as low as $12. It kind of all over the board. If you get a PSA 8, it's a $40 card. So you're going to want to target it around that $20 mark if you want to come close to breaking even. PSA 9 is $80. So these last two examples, guys, you need 9s to really make money on them. The 8s, you break even or you lose a little bit of eBay fees. And I don't want to see anybody losing money. So these last two examples are probably two of the worst, which is why I saved them for last. Because if you guys got bored and you tuned out, you won't see those at the end of the video anyways. So, all right. I do, for those that are wondering, my next video will be baseball prospects. I've got a whole list, page and a half, of ways for you guys to make money on baseball prospects. I will get that video in here. I'll make sure it's in before the end of January so you guys got time to get them bought, get them graded, and get them back before the start of the season. Also, if you can get them bought, that $25 turbo play, you'll have them back in about 30 days. The turbo play is really, I'm spending the extra money right now, the extra $6 a card over the bulk and doing the turbo play, and that's working very, very well for me. So that's all I have today. If there aren't any questions, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you learned a little bit more about the velocity play as I tried to explain it a little bit better in the beginning of the show. If you haven't, again, go watch my velocity video over on my YouTube channel. Link is in the bio on my Instagram. It is possible, guys, to make money on Michael Jordan. It is possible to buy cards you didn't even know existed. I'm sure some of these cards that I put up here today, you guys had no idea that they even existed. They are some pretty obscure mid-90s insert cards. So thanks for watching. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. And as always, have a great week. Good luck buying, and we'll see you next time.